April 1945. An American general forces 1,000 civilians from the most cultured city in Germany to march to a concentration camp. Professors, doctors, lawyers, they all say the same thing. We didn't know. So General George Patton decides to find out if they are lying. April 13th, 1945, Weimar, Germany. A woman in a fur coat sits at a café near the market square. She is drinking real coffee, a luxury that has been almost impossible to find during the war. On the table beside her cup lies a worn volume of Goethe. Outside the window, American tanks roll slowly down Schillerstrasse. She watches them without fear, without guilt. The war is ending, and she is certain of one thing: she has done nothing wrong. 2 days later, that same woman is standing on a hill outside the city. The coffee is forgotten. The Goethe is forgotten. An American soldier is pointing at something and telling her to look. She doesn't want to look. He tells her again. This time, he isn't asking. What is she looking at? And why did General George Patton personally order the citizens of Weimar to come here? To understand what happened on that hill, you first have to understand Weimar. Not just as a city, as a symbol. Weimar was the soul of Germany. Goethe wrote Faust here. Schiller walked these streets. The Bauhaus movement was born inside its walls. If you asked any educated European in 1930 to name the most civilized place in Germany, the most cultured, the most refined, they would have said Weimar. The people who lived there knew this. They were proud of it. They went to the theater on Fridays. They read philosophy on Sundays. They considered themselves the inheritors of the best of European civilization. And 8 kilometers up the road, up a scenic tree-lined road, was a place called Buchenwald, a concentration camp. 8 kilometers, in a city that worshipped philosophy, poetry, and civilization. 8 kilometers between Goethe and a concentration camp. Established in 1937, operating for 8 years, right there. The SS officers who ran Buchenwald lived in houses in the Weimar suburbs. Their wives shopped in the same boutiques as the woman with the Goethe book. They attended the same concerts. The smoke from Buchenwald's crematorium drifted over the city on still days. The ashes settled on windowsills, and when the Americans arrived in April 1945, the citizens of Weimar said the same 4 words. Wir haben es nicht gewusst. We did not know. April 11th, 1945. Patton's Third Army reaches the area. The SS guards have fled. The prisoners still alive, about 20,000 of them, have taken control of the camp. Patton arrives a few days later. He has already visited Ohrdruf, a smaller sub-camp. He has already seen things that veteran war correspondents described as impossible to put into words. He thinks he is prepared for Buchenwald. He is not. He walks through the main gate, the iron gate with its inscription, Jedem das Sein, to each his own, a cruel joke carved in metal. In the courtyard, a cart piled with bodies, naked, skeletal, eyes open, stacked like timber. The smell hits him before he sees them. Patton is not a sentimental man. He is old blood and guts. He has told his soldiers to be hard. He has told them that war requires the suppression of feeling. That night he writes in his diary. He does not finish the entry. He writes, "I have never felt so sick in my life. This is not war." And then he stops. He looks out toward the fields beyond the camp perimeter. German farmers are working their land. A woman is hanging laundry. A man is driving a cart. They are ignoring the smell. The same smell that is making American soldiers vomit against the fence. Patton turns to an aide. "Do the people in that town know about this?" The aide says, "They claim they don't, General." Patton's expression doesn't change. He slaps his riding crop against his boot once. "They are lying, and I am going to prove it." What Patton ordered next had never been done before in the history of warfare, and it would destroy the comfortable lie of an entire city in a single afternoon. Patton calls his provost marshal. He gives the order. He doesn't want soldiers. He doesn't want factory workers. He wants the elite. Find the professors, he says, the lawyers, the doctors, the businessmen, the wives of the politicians. The people who went to the same concerts as the SS officers. Bring me 1,000 of them. MPS spread through the city. They knock on the doors of grand villas on the Belvedere Alley. They enter the offices of surgeons and attorneys. They walk into boutiques on the Schillerstrasse. You are going for a walk, they tell the civilians. General Patton invites you to visit your neighbors. One doctor shouts, "I am a physician. You cannot order me like this." The MP points his rifle. Start walking. And so they walk. A column of 1,000 well-dressed civilians moving up the hill. Jeeps rolling alongside to ensure no one slips away. The mood is almost social. Women adjust their hats. Men chat about the absurdity of American theatrics. They believe this is propaganda, a stunt. They are smiling. Then the smell reaches them. Before they even reach the gate, the first civilians begin to faint. One woman collapses on the road. A professor vomits into the grass. The smell is already here, and they are still hundreds of meters away. The conversation stops. The smiles disappear. Handkerchiefs come out. Perfumed scarves. Women press them to their faces. The MPs push them forward. Keep moving. They walk through the iron gate. The first thing they see is the prisoners. Thousands of them, standing behind wire, watching in silence. These are the men the citizens of Weimar said did not exist. They don't scream, they don't move, they just stare. And somehow, that is worse than anything else. The Americans guide the civilians to the crematorium courtyard. The cart of bodies is still there. A woman in a fur coat, not the woman from the café, but she could be, stops walking. The color drains from her face. She begins to shake. Then she screams and collapses into the mud. An MP steps forward. He doesn't help her up. "Get up," he says. "You haven't seen anything yet." They are taken inside, into the pathology building. On a table, 2 preserved human heads, pieces of tattooed skin. The work associated with the commandant's wife, Ilse Koch. The men in suits are weeping now. Some are vomiting in the corners. An American officer who speaks perfect German stands at the table. He says, "You went to the theater while they were making these. You drank your coffee while the smoke was rising. And you say you didn't know." Nobody answers. Then comes the moment history should not forget. A former prisoner, a man who is nothing but bones held together by skin, moves through the crowd of well-dressed visitors. He is looking for something, or someone. He stops in front of a man in an expensive suit, a banker, someone important. He raises one finger, slowly. "I remember you," the prisoner says. "I worked at the train station. I carried luggage for the passengers. You walked past me every week. You looked at me. You looked away." The banker stares at him. Then his legs give out. He falls to his knees in the mud of Buchenwald, in his expensive suit, and he sobs. "Ich habe es nicht gewusst. I did not know." The prisoner looks at him for a long moment. Then he says quietly, "You knew enough," and he walks away. The tour lasts 3 hours. 1,000 citizens of Weimar walk back down the hill in silence. No one is chatting. No one is adjusting their hat. Some of them will not make it through the week. In the days that follow, several prominent citizens who were on the tour are found dead. Suicide. The guilt was not something they could carry. Eisenhower hears about the tour. He doesn't reprimand Patton. He expands the order to the press, to congressmen, to members of parliament. He wants witnesses. He wants the Germans themselves to be the witnesses. The woman from the café goes home. She sits at her kitchen table. The apartment is quiet. Outside, she can hear American soldiers in the street. On the table in front of her lies the volume of Goethe. She brought it with her this morning without thinking. She doesn't open it. She sits there as the light fades. She is thinking about the man on his knees in the mud. She is thinking about what the prisoner said to him. She is thinking, "Did anyone see me look away?" Buchenwald is a museum now. The iron gate is still standing. Jedem das Seine. To each his own. 8 kilometers from the city of Goethe. 8 kilometers from the coffee, the theater, and the philosophy. 8 kilometers from a concentration camp. Close enough to see the smoke. close enough to smell it.